Hello everyone. Okay, in this video we're going to have a look at why are some political parties more successful than others. Again, you could see this in an exam question, can't you? Evaluate the view that X is the main reason why some parties are more successful, something like that. I think what you need to do is first of all to decide what do you mean by successful. I think I would argue successful are political parties that win power, because that is their main aim, isn't it, to form governments. And obviously to win power, you need to have won a lot of seats in a parliament, and therefore you need to have a lot of public support. So personally, I think that. Although it's not absolute, because you could argue that UKIP were very successful, even though they never got anywhere near being in power. So first job would be to define what you mean by successful. Now, in your booklet, you've got this page. It's near the, I think it's in the back. It does say at the top, use your knowledge of elections, voting behaviour in the media. Now, we haven't done that bit yet. When I first did the course, I used to do that little topic first and then do the other ones. One or two of these, you might need to find out a little bit about them, but some of them are fairly common sense as well. So what you need to do is have a think about how important these different factors are. So, for example, party leadership. So, this is kind of the role of the leader. Does the leadership of a party play a really big role in their success? You may argue, if I have done before in lessons, that people like Nigel Farage, you might say, very strong party leadership, very popular kind of leader. And you might say a lot of people voted for Nigel Farage, as was shown by the fact that all his votes basically transferred to the Brexit Party when he switched over. Party leadership might be very important in terms of having a policy agenda which they're associated with. You might say Tony Blair in New Labour, for example, or David Cameron in the 2010s, or even Boris Johnson. He's got kind of a certain type of charisma which some people seem to quite like, don't they? So party leadership, its role in terms of parties being successful. United parties, in other words, do parties that are divided by factions where they're fighting each other do very well? And again, hopefully you could find out that parties which are divided tend not to do very well, because people think, well, why should I give them support if they don't agree with themselves? So, for example, like Labour in the 1980s, when they all fell out with each other, you could argue to some extent that happened a little bit with Jeremy Corbyn, can't you? As some people thought that Jeremy Corbyn's party was divided. You might argue that John Major in the 1990s as well led a very divided Conservatives, which led to their big defeat. So unity is fairly important. Media portrayal. So again, this has a big influence on the public argument, doesn't it? How does the media portray usually party leaders or their political party? So you might argue like Jeremy Corbyn had a lot of bad publicity, didn't he, from the press. Did that make his job harder at making his party successful? Because as we know, the Labour Party went to a crushing defeat in 2019. The press seemed to give Boris Johnson, you might argue, an easier ride up until the 2019 election, although some of them seem to have turned against him now due to the COVID. So again, that'd be quite interesting to see how that all develops. So media portrayal and the role which that plays for a party and stuff. Policy ideas. So this is the point that isn't the reason why a party is successful due to their ideas. So in other words, is it policy, not personality? Do people vote Labour, Conservative, Liberal, whatever, because they like their ideas, or do they vote because they like their party leader? And, you could make arguments either way. Was Brexit Party, UKIP Party, so successful due to the charisma of Nigel Farage, or was it because of the message he had, i.e. let's leave the EU? Was New Labour so successful because of their policy agenda was much more kind of in the political centre and more palatable to more people, or was it down to Tony Blair being a popular figure, arguably? I don't know. That's where you have to make some judgments, basically, and have a think of some examples for either way. If we move further down, okay, we've also got here the voting system. We haven't really done the voting system yet, so if you want to leave off on that till we've done the next topic, then please do feel free. I'm also going to make another video the weekend about party funding, but basically money. Do parties that have more money tend to be more successful? Labour and the Conservatives have far more money and resources available to them than other political parties. Is that a reason for their success? Or do they have money because they are popular due to their party leadership and their policy ideas? So again, you should have a bit of a think about some of these, think about how each of these factors might be important, then try and have a think about some examples possibly to show that these are important. Again, you might get an exam question on this, evaluate the view that party leadership is the main reason why some parties are more successful than others, or evaluate the view that party divisions are the main reason why some parties are less successful than others. So you need to have a think about some of these different factors as to why some parties may or may not be as successful as other parties.